buckle up. Here we go! Because the run home just got a little bumpier.
You cannot be serious!
I've got to sit here every friggin' week.
There's got to be an investigation into this. This is the Triple M Rush Hour with MG.
MG, I'm going to break with protocol here and just do a bit of an early finals butterfly check. Are your butterflies awake?
Well, yes, they are. They've hatched. The cocoon's broken. They're seedlings. They're about the flap.
Yeah.
Because this Friday in particular, I think, is a bit of a preview for our first finals action. And it'd be good to speak to Stephen Crichton today from the Panthers to find out how he is as well.
Yeah, absolutely. The Bunnies taking on the Panthers, an absolute cracker of a game for round 23. We are going to talk to Stephen Crichton a bit later on, but off the top, there's a bit of news from the world of rugby league we've got to break down.
What's cracking?
Connor Watson has signed with the Sydney Roosters. Reports coming out today that the Newcastle utility has opted for a 2-year deal to head to Bondi starting next season.
Very, very interesting. Very interesting. I didn't see this one coming. I must confess, I know he started his first grade career at the Roosters, but I didn't see this one coming because, his friendship with their best player, Callum Ponga.
Yeah, they live together.
And B, I thought he's quite settled there. And he's obviously something's happened because I don't see him going to the Roosters to play such a different role that he's playing now at the Knights.
Well, let's talk about that because at the Knights we've seen him play lock, we've seen him play in the halves, we've seen him play that traditional kind of 14 off the bench. And it would seem if you look at the Roosters next season, best 17, he's not going to be in the halves because it's Walker and Keary. He's probably at 13 Victor Radley, so he's probably still casting that 14 role, is he not?
Well, I think these days, Liam, rugby league's a 14-man game. I think that number 14 jersey is just as important as anyone in the side. You've usually got the 14 who is a utility, and then you've got 3 boppers, 2 front rows and a back row on the bench. So, look, he's the next Craig Wing. I think he's Mr. Energy at Newcastle. He can play anywhere. Like, legitimately, he can play anywhere in the back line if he has to.
Yeah.
But he's probably best served at 6 or 7. And he can also play 9 and 13. So, yeah, fantastic backup. But obviously he thinks, and this is where it gets interesting, obviously he thinks that he's got more chance of winning a competition at Bondi than he does at Newcastle because he's uprooting, he's going back to the club that started it all off, but he seems settled at Newcastle. I don't know whether he's unhappy that he's not making the starting lineup in Newcastle when he thinks he might be. This is all reading between the lines, obviously.
Yeah.
But, look, I didn't see this one coming, but good on him. He's made a brave decision.
Absolutely. Well, and you talk about the reports, as we read Fox Sports today, is that he has accepted a 2-year deal, whereas the Knights potentially had a 3rd year on the table. So it must be a decision for, I want to win a comp. I want to win a comp.
And that's what you kind of put it down to, don't you? You think, okay, well, he's got Mitchell Pearce at Newcastle, then he's got young Sam Walker at the Roosters. So he's got age versus youth on his side. But I know he's got a great combination with on and off the field with Callum Ponga, and that's why it's kind of come from a little bit of left field. I know he was ringing around coaches, and that's kind of unheard of that a player would ring coaches to say, "Look, I'm keen to come to your club." And so he must have been a little bit disgruntled for a while at the Knights because there's been rumblings, hasn't there?
Well, the other thing it says to me is that Trent Robinson, you talk about him as being, he's up there with Bellamy and Bennett in terms of not only the way he coaches the players, but the relationship he has with them. And it tells me that Connor Watson sees the opportunity to be coached by Trent Robinson as one he can't pass up. So well done to the Roosters. It's a great signing for them. He's a genuine...
I think so too, yeah.
Genuine, valuable player. The other thing that was confirmed today, Reedy broke it for us a couple of weeks back on his mail, is that Moses Mbai, officially a Dragon, will join the club on a 2-year deal as of next season. Yeah,
another interesting one, because very similar to Connor Watson. Moses Mbai hasn't really cemented a spot per se in the Tigers team. He can play, again, he's probably his versatility is probably his only hindrance because he can play anywhere in the back line. He can play 9. But I think, again, 14 or probably 6 at the Dragons. He might get the number 6 jersey now that Corey Norman's moving on. So Ben Hunt and Moses Mbai going forward for the Dragons,
Do you
half
like that
combination.
as a halves combination next year?
Look, I was just thinking about it just before we started talking about it, and look, I remember him playing a game this year when we commentated at Magic Round against the Knights, and he played 5'8", and I thought, I think 5'8" could be his spot. He's not a centre. He's definitely not a centre, and I don't know about being a fullback, but I think a bit closer to the action, number 6 on his back, yeah, or look, the ultimate number 14 as well, like Connor Watson, Mr. Versatile, they can play anywhere, and that's what you're buying these days. You're buying, when you buy a number 14, you're buying part of your run-on side because they inevitably get more time than the guys do on the field anyway.
It provides fills a genuine hole for the Dragons next season. We know Corey
Sure.
Norman's
Well,
not
they're
going to be
starting to look
there.
good, aren't they?
Well, yeah, and I think the fullback one is they still need to figure out. I know you're not a fan of Jack Bird at fullback. He's been playing there late in the season, but Corey Norman's departure, they have a hole to fill at 5'8", and maybe Moses Mbai is the solution for that one. So Mbai officially a Dragon next year, and obviously the Tigers will still be chipping in for his payment. We know that's the way Anthony Griffin likes to sign players.
Moneyball Griffin.
Oh, what? The club's going to chip in half of his... Yep, we'll take him.
We'll take him.
We'll take him. Lastly, before we move on, James Maloney
Jimmy
has officially announced his retirement from rugby league. This will be his final season with the Catalan Dragons. He's hanging them up.
He's been a fantastic player over a long period of time, and success seems to follow him everywhere he went. He didn't stay in one place. He got itchy feet, and that's probably his mantra. He's been every club he went to. I think there's 4 or 5 clubs. He went for a couple of years and played his role in nurturing the young kids, and he was one young kid when he first started, I think, with Melbourne way back. But
2009.
one of the real characters of the game. I'd love to get him on for a chat very soon.
We'll put that on to producer Charlie. Yeah. We'll see how his French is going, if he can break into
Bonjour
to the Catalan Dragons and get a hold of Jimmy. Now, lost the grand final with the Warriors in 2011, won the comp with the Roosters in 2013, won the comp with the Sharks in 2016. Amazingly, has never played over 100 games with a single club.
Yeah,
I was shocked by that. Roosters, he's played 80 games with the Roosters, and that's the most with any one club.
Wow, I thought he played more at Penrith as well. He seemed to have
44 games with Penrith.
44
he was
games,
only there
that's
for
all he
2 seasons.
Wow.
Didn't he leave a mark, though?
Yeah, he did. He brought through young Nathan Cleary beautifully.
Yeah.
And, good on him. I think, and now he's looking at maybe considering coaching. Well, that'll be
How would that go?
I'm not sure. He might have a fantastic footy brain, but sometimes he doesn't fit the category of coaches, if you know what I mean. It's usually these serious type guys who take their footy very seriously, and usually highly decorated players don't usually make good coaches, but he could be the exception to the rule.
I reckon that there would be clubs around the NRL who would fall over themselves to try and get James Maloney as an assistant.
100%.
To get him to develop a young halves pairing potentially, to bring some levity to the group while the Mr. Serious in the big chair is the one that they kind of fear and revere, and James Maloney's the one that kind of is able to take the air out of the situation and keep everybody smiling and upbeat. I think that would be a very astute signing for any club around the NRL. So, well done to James Maloney, a fantastic career, and he doesn't want to finish without a win. The Catalan Dragons, I think they sit top of the Super League at the moment. So
they're going good.
They're going good. Could add another piece of silverware to his glittering resume. All right, time to jump into this.
On Triple M's Rush Hour, it's best case, worst case.
The feedback for best case, worst case.
I've been loving this. Yeah, I must confess, a lot of my friends sent me a text as we were doing it last night saying, I love this.
I love best case, worst case.
Give us more.
Give us more. We're going to give you more. You asked for 2 teams to be put into the best case, worst case filter, the machine today, MG. You asked for the Rabbitohs and the Raiders. I'm going to give you the Raiders first.
Okay.
Best case scenario for the Canberra Raiders, they can finish as high as 7th on the ladder.
Wow.
With a potential week 1 elimination final against the Eels. Now, they need the Knights and the Titans to obviously stumble a little bit in the final 3 rounds. They need to win out, and the Eels are the matchup of choice for any of these teams, potentially finishing 7th, given the way they're travelling at the moment.
Well, I'll tell you what, if they can do a job on Manly this week, the Raiders, that's a good start to their last few games and trying to make it into the 8, because Manly without Tommy Turbo, by all account, is out for this game. Well, and the way the Raiders played last week against the Storm, I saw some great signs. So this could be the start of their resurgence.
And they play a finals brand of football. They're gritty. It's hard fought. It's not open and free flowing shootout type stuff. So
no, it's aggressive.
That's best case. Worst case, they can still finish as low as 13th.
Wow.
And then they spend the off-season wondering where it all went wrong and how do
Well,
they
they know
get
where
back
it
to the
went wrong.
promised land.
They know where it all went wrong. It's when their dirty laundry got aired, and that's the worst thing about a club, when you kind of have things internally get leaked out, and there's all prices to pay.
So best case 7th, worst case 13th for the Canberra Raiders.
Okay.
Let's jump into the Rabbitohs. Best case scenario, they finished first.
Yes.
They get the double chance, and they can get a Week 1 final. Unlikely as it may be, they can get a Week 1 final against Parramatta. That is the absolute best case for the South Sydney Rabbitohs. They would take on Parramatta, who they've smashed twice this season. The Storm and the Panthers finished second and third. They have to go head-to-head with each other in Week 1 of the finals, and the Bunnies travelling along nicely.
That is the best case scenario for anybody at the moment who, unless the Eels find something in their kit bag that's a bag of tricks, everyone wants to play the Eels first round, don't they? Worst
case scenario for the Rabbitohs. They finished third, the Panthers finished top, and the Rabbitohs have to have a Week 1 final against the Melbourne Storm.
Yes, that could happen.
Probably up on the Sunshine Coast as well, which is basically the Storm's second home.
Yeah, well, it is. It's even they've got a better strike rate there than they have at bloody Link in Melbourne.
AAMI
Park. So, well, there you go. So this Friday night's game against the Panthers is
huge,
so massive,
huge,
isn't it?
It essentially relegates the loser to probably
shaky lands.
Well, it probably means that the loser is going to finish third, most likely.
Yep.
And it takes the minor premiership off the table. So best case for the Rabbitohs, they finish first. Worst case, they finish third. Where do you think Wayne wants to finish? Do you think he wants the minor premiership?
I think so. I think he's going to put everything into this Friday night's game against Penrith. And we'll start pumping this game up a lot more through the week. But look, some of the matchups. We'll go back over the teams when they last played in round 11 and how different they are now. Look, the Nathan Cleary factor's massive for Penrith. 3 games they've lost this year. He wasn't part of it. So he's back last week against the Dragons, and they have a win straight away. And so many permutations in this game that I just cannot wait for it. So the Butterflies, even thinking about it now, are starting to flap. They're starting to flap.
If Big Tom Burgess or Kalamatangi can find a way to run at that right shoulder of Nathan Cleary, they will. They will.
Oh, of course they will. Of course they will. Well, the Dragons tried to as well.
True. I think he made most of his tackles with his left, though, didn't he?
Yeah.
Righto, there you go. That's best case, worst case for today. Who would you like to see roll out tomorrow, MG?
I don't know, surprise me.
All right, I'll roll out another sort of top-of-the-ladder contender and one of those teams fighting for the 8th on best case, worst case tomorrow. Round 23, MG, there's so many, as you would call them, permutations.
Yes.
That could happen off the back of this round. There's teams fighting for spots in finals. There's teams fighting for spots in the top 4. But the game of the round, without question, happens Friday night when your Panthers take on the South Sydney Rabbitohs.
Massive game. And in all likelihood, probably the first week of the finals, we could see these two teams playing with each other as well.
Little rematch. Well, one man who will be integral to the success of the Penny Panthers in this one, he goes all right. He's having a very nice career, even though it's still somewhat at the early stages. We speak, of course, of Stephen Crichton. G'day, Steve.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me.
No, anytime, Critter. Mate, massive game this weekend. I know it's still a couple of weeks away from finals footy, but it's almost like a bit of a preview for finals footy. The boys pumped?
Yeah, 100%. Leading into this game, we've already had a few meetings. This is like a level up just before finals, and it'll be a good test to see where we're at just before we head into finals.
Well, South Sydney, the last time they lost the game was against you guys in Dubbo, when you basically pulled their pants down and beat them 56 points to 12 in round 11. Obviously, you're going to face a different Rabbitohs team, but also, on the other hand, you've got a little bit of an X factor with Tavita Pengai Jr. in the team this week. How's he settled in?
Yeah, he settled in good. He had a few family issues last week, but yeah, he's definitely he trained with us yesterday, and yeah, he's really got good intentions to why he's here, and he's very locked in with like what he does, and he's fits in well with the train ethic of like our Fisher Harris and the kicker Moses Leota. Fits in well with them, and they've got a little crew there. But yeah, he's got well.
I'd be locked in too, MG, if I went from a team that was probably a chance of winning the wooden spoon to another one that's a chance of winning a premiership. I'd be locked in. Hey, Steve, you spoke of the little crew that TBJ is now a part of with James Fisher-Harris and the like. One of the things that struck us early on in the season was just how much fun you and your teammates seem to have when you're out there. I mean, it seemed infectious. There are a couple of moments where you got criticised for taking the fun a little too far, but is that fun still there as we get closer to the finals?
Yeah, 100%. That's something that Coach always talks to us about, bringing energy to training all the time. And I think that explains the boombox and things like that we carry around. But yeah, I think it definitely comes to behind the scenes, how close of a group we are. And especially having our families and that here, we always get together for lunch and dinner. So it makes that, that team culture even tighter with the families as well. But yeah, the childish things are still...
It's funny you mention that, because I think what happened when the competition got relocated to Queensland, obviously some teams were going to relish it and some teams were going to do the opposite and hate it. We've seen you guys, the Storm, the Rabbitohs, all the teams who are up the top of the ladder seem to relish it, where other clubs have seemed to implode somewhat because they're probably seeing too much of each other. But it's right up your alley, the young Panthers side, isn't it? Yeah,
we use it as an opportunity to get better. We're still here to do a job and play footy. But yeah, it's even better getting our families up here. So yeah, it's still good and using it as a good opportunity.
Have you got your own room, Steve?
Yeah, got my own.
Oh, okay, that's all right. I just thought,
got a balcony?
Yeah, good balcony. We're up right on the beach as well, so yeah, heaps good out here.
This is, sometimes we go, this is game of the round, that could be game of the round, but there is no doubt this Friday night, this is absolutely game of the round when your Panthers take on the Bunnies.
Well, I think they're both very close to full strength. The Panthers have obviously got Brian To'o and Team A, who are out injured, but apart from that, they're full stocked, and I think South Sydney are very similar. I think Campbell Graham might be coming back this weekend, and so, yeah, look, if this is a game where I think both teams will throw everything at each other, and I think we'll get a little bit of a bragging rights for that first final if they play each other in the first round of finals.
Absolutely. Hey, Steve, before we let you go, how is the human calf muscles return to game coming? How's Brian To'o looking?
Yeah, he's going heaps today. He's still looking happy to be here. So, yeah.
He looks happy to be everywhere. He's like a puppy dog.
He's a happy boy.
He's like a Labrador.
Yeah.
Hey, Steve, we really appreciate your time. Huge game Friday night. Bunnies taking on the Panthers. We wish you the best of luck.
All right, thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Reckon he could be in for a big one on Friday night, MG? Think he might be due.
He's been very solid this year. Hasn't been his spectacular self of last year, but I think that's looming. That's coming.
Absolutely. All right, we got to get out of here. Tomorrow on the show, more best case, worst case, and the Moon Man is going to join us for a chat.
Yeah, you got the Moon Man in the morning.
Well, it'll be in the evening, actually.
Yeah, well, that's right. As always, thank you so much for your ears. He's Liam. I'm MG. Wherever you are, stay random.